Jay Young. Hope you're doing well today. Hey, how many times have you heard this in the last 3 months? Boy, I can't wait for things to get back to normal. Or, uh, boy, once things get back to normal, all of my customers will be coming back. Or, boy, I can't wait for things to get back to the way they were. I've been guilty of saying that, of course. I was talking to a friend of mine 2 days ago. He owns an automotive service business, and he was telling me that his business has really been hurt. In fact, he said that his business is off by about $80,000 a month this month, anyway. And he said, in fact, since March, between April and now, his business each month has lost almost $80,000. Normally, his business is right around $100,000 that he brings in a month. And the last 3 months, in fact, this one particularly bad, only about $20,000 this month. He said, "Man, I can't afford to pay the help, right? Can't even afford to pay the gas and the utilities." So that's a tough thing. And he said what I just said earlier. Boy, I can't wait for all of this to be over with so our customers will start coming back. And I said, "Well, what makes you think they're going to come back?" And he had that look on his face like, "Well, of course they will, right?" And I asked him, "So what have you been doing to invite them to come back? What have you been doing? What kinds of amazing offers have you been sharing with them over the last 3 months or a year so they even remember you? How have you been thanking them? What kinds of events have you been inviting them to? How have you been staying engaged with these past customers so they just miraculously come back when all of this is over?" And he had this puzzled look on his face like this is hitting him for the first time. Because this is the way business is, right? We have customers, and we just think they're going to come back and that they don't have a choice to go anywhere else. In fact, there was an interesting statistic, because he's not doing any of that, by the way, none of that. And so I said, "Well, what makes you think they're going to come back?" And because things are different now. This was an article that I read. 68% of people surveyed said that their buying decisions have been altered because of the shutdown and have decided that they can do three things. So number one, they can do things for themselves, what they were going to do before. Between God and Google, you can do anything, right? They were going to find it online for less, number two. And number three, this one hurts, looking for another source now that restrictions are lifting. So that place you always went to, they don't have to go there anymore. It's like, imagine you've got all of these horses in a corral, right? And we'll call those horses your customers. And they've been good. They've come back to you. But now, over the last 3 months, the fences have been knocked down, and these horses can go anywhere. And it's up to you to go lasso them and bring them back to you, because they're free agents. They are. They're free agents. And I told my friend, this is true about you too. I mean, your customers can go anywhere. They can go to any of your competition. And my friend in the automotive industry, he said, "Well, I've been talking to some of the other people in my industry, about how things are going." And he goes, "I know none of them are doing those things you said. They're not reaching out to their customers. They're not offering them these things." I don't know how he knew that, but he made that declaration to me. And then for about 15 seconds, he just stopped. And he didn't say anything. And you could see the wheels turning in his head, right? You could see that, he's having this big epiphany. And he said, you know, if they're not doing that, then I have a huge advantage over them. And then he had this big grin on his face, and he says, if I start doing those things, I could dominate this industry. And that's exactly true. And that's what I told him. In fact, if anyone just starts doing a few of these things, right? And that's the big secret. You could start right now with your past customers, engaging with them, presenting them with something that lets them know that you appreciate them, presenting them with some kind of a valuable offer, presenting them with some kind of a thanks, saying, boy, you've been a great customer for us. I will share this. My wife and I, we went out for dinner. This was right after the restrictions at restaurants had lifted, right? So we couldn't go in, and now this was the first time you could go in to dine. So we wanted some Mexican food, so we went to a Mexican restaurant, and we were greeted at the door by somebody with this thermometer gun shooting us in the forehead to make sure that we weren't sick. And I think we had to sanitize our hands. There was a questionnaire we had to run through, and bless their hearts, I'm sure they were doing this, just that's probably what the ordinance was, right? And we go sit down, the help comes, pretty unfriendly. They acted like, of course you're coming back, right? And we had been there before, but there was nobody that said, hey, is this your first time back since everything, all this craziness has happened? None of that. There was no thank you so much. In fact, for coming back, we're going to offer you this. I mean, there was no acknowledgement of the fact that we had choices to go anywhere, but we still came back to there. And I guarantee you, we're not going back to them because the service was terrible. So that's why I'm so excited about sharing this information, because the complete blueprint to re-engage past customers and almost customers to generate predictable revenue stream does exactly that and more. It's a process for you to be able to re-engage your customers and those who may not have been customers. And it's a powerful process. It's a powerful blueprint that you can put in place to make all of this happen. And that is my passion. I've helped so many business owners to be able to weather this storm that we're in right now, which is a terrible storm. Those that are prepared will come out of this. Those that just think that once this is all over, that people are going to come rushing back in, sadly, that is a mistake. And that's a mistake that may be something that cannot be undone. So in the coming days, I'm going to be sharing more tips, more secrets that you could put into place right now, today, to be able to stay engaged with your customers. Show them that you're appreciative of them. So in the coming days, be looking for more videos like this. It's all about solving problems, creating solutions, right? And that's what I always leave you with. Solve problems, create solutions, and continue to engage with your customers, and they'll be loyal to you for life. So hopefully everybody will weather this storm, and when things get back to normal, right, everything will be okay. Thanks so much for joining me today. Appreciate it.